Hello, everybody. This is Alia, the love coach, coming here for another love circle. So excited for today's conversation. We are going to talk about worry today. What my intention is with this conversation to help you see where you are stuck in worrying, why you are stuck there, and how you can actually let go of worry. But one thing that you will definitely be understanding why worrying is so addictive and why it feels so good. So that is definitely something we all would be living with. Because if we don't understand then that piece, then it becomes very hard to change this habit. So first of all, let's get into what is worrying. Worrying is when something gets into your head and it just keeps going on and on and on, and you're just like, what if this happened? What if that happened? All the what if case scenario. We can worry about something that happened in the past, that it might come and haunt us in the future. We could worry about what will happen in the future. We could worry about, like, being in this moment. Oh my God, what am I going to do? Worry goes on all different levels, but generally, worry is associated with a moment in the future where you're worried how it will go. And that future could be the next moment, it could be next 5 minutes. That is when we are so focused on things going wrong. No one worries about things going right. Generally, this is the negative place our mind goes to when it tries to mess up with our with us, like, what if this happened, what if that happened. So if you are somebody who worry all the time, the first thing I would like you to do is start asking, start paying attention to when you have these what if scenarios going on in your mind. Start writing them down. Get like a tiny notebook, carry it with yourself everywhere, because first thing is you need to see how much it takes out of your life, out of your time, out of your energy. Because let's say if you write down that you caught yourself saying, what if this happened? What if that happened? 25 times in a day versus you caught yourself only doing that 2 times, it makes such a big difference that you are worrying tiny bit or you're worrying a lot. So definitely do that experiment for yourself so you get to know how much of your energy is going into worrying. Now, why do we worry? So I'll help you understand part of the conscious and subconscious mind. So the way subconscious mind would sabotage you, it starts with confusion. So your mind actually does not start with worry. It starts with confusion, and then the doubt comes, and then the worry comes. And people who are worried a lot, they are also people who are very fearful. And then they are also people who feel very anxious all the time. So this is something we can pinpoint. We are thinking about it. Let me just fix this, or okay. But it actually starts with confusion, goes to doubt, very quickly to worry, and fear and anxiety are just like, they're just hanging around there. People who worry a lot, it could be you, it could be your mom, it could be your grandma, it could be your dad, it could be anybody around you that you witness. They just worry all the time about every single thing. They are also afraid of things going wrong. They are also anxious, like what's going to happen with this thing or that thing, and what's going to happen to you. If it's one of your elder family members that we are talking about, they would be worrying about you. So this is the pattern it goes in, but this is where we are more familiar with it. It feels like more of a bigger thing that you can see. Oh, I am worried about this thing going right or wrong. So this is usually we catch it, but that's not what's going on. There's so much more going on. These 5 ways are, these are the 5 ways that our subconscious mind get hold of us. The part of subconscious mind that wants you to stay safe. Because we can also program our subconscious mind for joy, for love, for success, and all the other good stuff. But the part of subconscious mind that's not healed yet, or part of subconscious mind that might never heal, but we will just get used to it being there, it wants us to stay safe. So when the safety mechanism gets tripped up, this is where our thoughts go. So if you worry a lot, your subconscious mind is running the show, part of subconscious mind that wants you to stay safe. So for you to live your full potential, that feels like such a far off dream. You might be very successful person in your life. You might be doing amazing, wonderful things, but it might not be what your true desire is, because that might feel like too much to live for. That might make you feel fearful, worried. What if I go for my true desire and then I fail? Like, what's going to happen then? So you go for the safe success route. Maybe you went for a wonderful career that is, taking care of all of your needs, but deep down, you wanted to do something completely different. So that is where the split happens between us. We are not able to live our full potential when we get stuck with one of these. And today we are talking about worry, but all of these are relative to our conversation. So what is the downside of living with worry? You don't get to live with your full potential. You're always worried about what's going to happen next. You're not going to be so willing to stretch beyond your boundaries. That happens beyond worry. That happens when we can look at all these things, but they don't control us. And there's a different part of us that's running the show, not this part. It can exist, it can be with you all along, but it cannot run the show. So what is that part? So there's 3 God-given faculties of the soul that we have. We end up using our conscious mind to exercise them. So I'm just going to put C for conscious mind, and that is courage, faith, and vision. So what we are going to do for today's conversation, we are talking about worry, and we are going to also focus on faith. We are going to focus on how to replace our worry with faith. So if you find yourself dealing with any of these, usually they all come in a shot. Focus on whatever step is in front of you. How can you, for example, let's work with an example. For example, if you're worried about your kids' well-being, so that's where you will exercise courage. I'm going to be that courageous mom who's going to have faith in a higher power, and I'm going to hold the vision of my child being just fine. That's going to require your conscious mind to really hold that vision, to really make that decision, to make that switch. Now, courage is not something you go and you practice, exercise, you have to build. It already exists within you. You just have to literally move to the other side, and you just have to, I'm looking for a tissue right now. So courage is just something that is within you, and you can just kind of plug into it anytime. Like right now, any one of us can say, I am going to be courageous enough to have faith that I will be successful in whatever I'll do. And then just keep saying that. Worry will come, worry will say, what if this happened? What if that happened? But you keep saying, no, I'm going to be courageous enough to keep moving forward. When you keep focusing on the courage and being conscious all the time, then the worry and the fear and the anxiety and the confusion now don't have that much hold on you. So this is just like, this is what you can do, this is what's available. But this is more like intellectual stuff. Having intellectual understanding, yeah, it's gonna give you an idea, but we want to get into why it's so hard to switch from here to here. Be like, oh yeah, I do know that instead of worrying, I should have faith, but I just can't do it. So let's look at why you can't do it. So first thing about worry is when we are sticking in that what if scenario and we are going into that worrisome situation, our brain chemistry starts to change. So your brain is like, the chemistry changing, the new neural pathways are being created. It gets used to that. So if you are a big time worrier, your body's used to that. Then all of a sudden you're like, from today I'm going to try to be positive and have faith. Your body always wins. Your body would be like, good luck. I am so used to it. Good luck using your conscious mind. So we want to engage our body. We want to understand that worry is not just something you can just drop. Worry goes way deeper into our body, and we want to change it all the different places. So look at it as if it's a habit you have right now. It's a bad habit, just like maybe you want to stop drinking soda, you want to stop drinking coffee. Maybe you decided I'm going to go caffeine free. Just how soda and coffee is addictive to our body, that's how worry is too, because it has chemicals involved in it. So your body's used to that. So first start with writing down all the time when you are worried. When you would just do that exercise, it's going to make you conscious of all the moments when you are going into worry. What's going to happen when when you become conscious of that moment? In that moment, it's like you're introducing an outsider. So your mind is very used to starting from point A. It goes like this, like this. What if that happened? What if that happened? It's very used to going like this, right? As soon as you start the what if scenario, right, you're going like this and you're like, oh my God, I'm worrying. Let me write it down. You interrupted the pattern. And then after a few hours, again, it's like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, what happened? What happened? What if this? And then you're like, oh, I'm worrying again. Let me write it down. What you're doing, you're interfering that pathway. When you interfere that pathway, what you're doing, you're breaking down those connections that exist. So you're physiologically changing yourself. You can't just override this mechanism. We are very powerful being. We have a wonderful mechanism within us. So when we want to change it, we can't just change it at a snap of a finger. We need to do a little bit more work here. So once you start to interrupt that pattern, it's so much easier to change the habit. So much easier. So think of it this way. If there is a very big, thick rope, like really, really thick rope, and you're trying to cut it, it's going to be so hard to cut it. You might be there for like an hour, unless you get like a really big chainsaw to do it. But if you start putting like really tiny, tiny cuts on different parts, the rope starts to get weaker. It's so much easier to break it then, right? The same goes for the physiological changes that are going to happen within your mind when you are ready to let go of worry. So first, so also realize it's a habit. It's a habit that exists in your body. It's a habit that exists in your psychology, in your thoughts, in your behavior. So it exists at multiple levels. When you're changing it, you have to change it on all different levels. But then you might be like, okay, why should I do it? Like, why do I want to go through all this work? Like, why would I even do that? And that's what brings us to what worry actually does to you and the people you love. Now, this is where when I share this piece with my clients, there is a big pushback. The pushback comes from your unconscious mind because it doesn't want to change. And we are talking about actually changing that, changing something that you've been holding so dear to you for such a long time. So be ready if there's a pushback from your subconscious mind. I highly, highly, highly suggest you question yourself, keep your mind open, and just ask yourself, what if what I'm learning today is actually true? So here's what it is. From a very young age, we are taught worry equals love. If you love somebody, you will worry for them. If you don't worry for somebody, that means you don't love them. So just pay attention to, we worry about our partner, about our family, about our kids, we worry about our pets, we worry about our society, our country, our world, our universe. We worry about it. So there's a difference, like, when, let's say, something happened, you're worried about it and you actually took an action. And there's a difference when you just sit there and you just worry about it. For example, if you really believe in global warming and you're like, I want to save this planet, I am worried about our planet not being sustainable for the future generations to come, whatnot. You can sit there and worry about it for, like, let's say, next 60 years, or you can actually take some very important actions to maybe create something, maybe raise funds, and actually start helping out. But once you start to help out, you acted on that worry and you did something. That means it was close to your heart. It was part of your passion. It was part of your desire. It was maybe part of your purpose. That's why you got so triggered by that. But if you're just sitting there just worrying, that's what most of us do. That's where it becomes a problem. We feel like I am loving something or somebody if I'm worried about it. Now, most of the time, we don't look at worry. We look at worry like, oh, I'm just worried all the time. It's a big deal. You're taking away energy space from your mind, from your body, from your being. You could be doing something else towards your purpose, towards your desire, but instead you're using it to just worry endlessly for things that are not even in your control and you can't even change. Why do we do that? We do that because for in our unconscious mind, worry equals love. So that there's something I want to show you, and I hope that can change that. So we all have a creative mechanism within us, and we can use it to create life. We can use it to destroy life. So I'm just going to use this space as a conscious and unconscious mind. So this is the conscious mind. This is the subconscious mind. So let's say subconscious mind is worried. It's also our feeling mind. There's an image here. There's an image of something terribly wrong happening to somebody you love. And you're just sitting there worrying unconsciously, unable to stop. And that image is just haunting you now. And you're just going deeper and deeper into it, more emotionally getting involved. This is what's happening. There's that energy that's moving through you all day long, 24/7. goes in and out, in and out. What this energy does, it creates whatever you're holding in your, whatever image you're holding in your conscious mind. This energy is not going to say, by the way, Alia, this image is not good. I'm not going to create that. No, that energy is deductive. You can call that spirit, you can call that soul, you can call that universal energy moving through you all the time, because we are creative beings. Me, you, every single human, we are creative being. We don't even realize what powerful creator we are. And this is the mechanism that's within us. Whatever image you're holding, the energies that's moving through you all day long is going to create that in your outer reality. So the world that we are carrying within us, we are creating that outside of us. That's why whenever we want to change something outside of us, first we look at what's going on inside of us, instead of blaming everybody, because we are creating all of that too. This is the level of utmost responsibility where most of the people don't want to go. They rather just blame and play the role of a victim, or just say, like, God gave me this problem. Or, they try to take, like, the religious, spiritual, and all kind of other routes. But this does not change. Even if you're running away from it, it does not change. So let's say I'm worried about my kid. What am I doing? I am creating that future for my child. Now, is that love? That's not love. That's not what love does. Love creates more life. Love does not destroy life. That's what we are doing when we are in worried. We are using our creative faculties to create stuff that we don't want. It's like, if you have a factory, and you can use that factory to create wonderful things, but you're using that factory to create terrible things that are going to hurt other people. And then you're just like, but I didn't know. Okay, I'm teaching it to you. So you're learning it right now. Now, why it's so bad to create bad things for others? I know there are some people that have heard it, like, we all got hurt at some point, and you might be like, okay, I really want to hurt that person. Fine, if that's where you want to go, that's okay. But we are doing that to our loved ones too, with worrying. Yes, when you want to take a revenge, that's like, actively you're doing something wrong to somebody. But when you're worrying, you're still doing wrong to somebody you love. Now, here's what's so wrong with this picture. I'm going to erase this. So let's say this is me, right? And this is my soul's path. And my soul had a contract before I came to this physical body that, I'm going to go, I'm going to live through this, and I'm just going to do whatever I'm going to do. This is my soul's path. This is, let's say, my child's soul path, right? Or your child's soul path, however you want to relate to it. Now, if I start worrying and I start creating this stuff on behalf of my kid, what I'm doing, I'm interfering in their path. So when you are worried about your kids, you're interfering and creating chaos on their behalf in their path. They didn't come and ask you, Mommy, can you create a crazy health issue or an accident for me? They didn't come and ask you that. So that is when we start worrying about other people, we are literally leaving our path, jumping onto their path, and creating chaos in their path. So look at it this way. We all are on a marathon, but the way we are running the marathon, we all have our own lanes, right? We all have our own lane. No one is crossing each other's lane. and then I leave my lane. I need to get to the finish line. I leave my lane and I go and I start putting hurdles on somebody else's path. Is that love? It's not. I am wasting my time, my very precious time that I have in this body, that I could be using to getting to my destination, wherever I'm supposed to go, whatever I'm here to do. And on top of that, I am making it difficult for other beings. And they happen to be my family, maybe my child. So this is how we make it so hard for others when we worry for them. And on top of that, we are using the creative energy that we could have used to create something so beautiful in this world. We are using it to create chaos in our life and someone else's life. That is where we are violating other people's right. So there are laws that this universe is created with. It runs on very specific laws. And one of the, it's not a law, but one of the rule of thumb is do not violate other people's right. So when we say do not violate other people's right, it's through your actions, through your words, and through your thoughts. So this would be an example of violating other people's rights through our thoughts. And we don't want to do that. We don't want to do that. So I hope this is just taking it a little deeper for you, that worry is just not a thing that you might just give up one day. It is serious business, my friends. It's really serious business. We want to let go of worry. We don't want to keep it in our psychology. Yes, it will come, but don't stay with it. Don't sleep with it. Don't spend your whole day with it. If it comes, let it go as soon as it comes to you. Or spend some time just, rewatch this thing so it help you understand how big of a deal it is. But the reason we don't let go of worry, because we think we are loving someone when we are worried about them. It creates that level of intimacy. It creates an identity for us too. We generally, I have seen pretty much every family has one person who just worries about everything. Is it a role that you started to play when you were young and you're just still stuck in it? Because it's not helping anybody. It's not. And you can make a decision to let it go. Now, let's talk about how you're going to make a decision to let it go. First of all, if you're already convinced that this is something you want to change, and you have already realized the damage that it creates in your life and in other people's life, let's look into how you can let it go. So the first thing about that is worry creates safety. So the 5 things that I wrote down, the 5 ways our subconscious try to hold us into a safe space. It's familiar, it's safe, it's been there always. So creating change feels weird. It feels hard to do it. But also creating changes where growth will happen. So keep in mind that it's not that the worry is a good thing or this is how I can show love. Remind yourself, I am worrying because it feels safe when I worry about something. It gives me control. So we are going back into the safety and control route here. So whenever you're looking for safety, guilt, by the way, does the exact same thing. When you're looking for safety, you're basically looking for control. Or vice versa. When you're looking for control, you're looking for safety. But the truth is, there's no safety. We all can die or get destroyed any minute. So that is the part of human life that, or I think all the living beings, that no one knows when someone is going to die. So that is the part that the higher power has kept with himself. So there's no safety. So if there's no safety, then what I'm going to do, like if I'm not gonna worry, like how do I ground myself? So we focus on and surrender to our divinity. And when I say our divinity, remembering or keeping in mind, we are a spiritual being in a human body. So yes, my human body has the name Alia. Yes, it has specific personality, but that's not who I am in my entirety. There is a grand soul behind this being that we are seeing in a physical body. And the more you focus on that there's a soul backing this body, that is you surrendering into I am a divine being in a human body. I'm a spiritual being. That's who I really am. And at that level, you're safe always. There's no danger. You're never in trouble because you're one with everything in this universe at that level. So the more you will focus on that, the less you're going to feel the need to be in control, to be in safety. Yes, control and safety, they are kind of symptom of unhealed trauma that we have embedded in our nervous system. Yes, you will be doing that work. You're ready to do that work. Reach out to me. We can do that. But till you get there, you can just keep focusing on I am a divine being in a human body, and that is where my safety is. That's what's going to make me feel safe. So sitting with yourself 5 to 10 minutes every day and just focusing on that, kind of like in a meditative state, just pondering over it. Oh my God, I am a spiritual being in a human body having this experience, and I am not going to find the safety and control here. That is what my safety is. If you keep pondering over it even for a week, you're going to feel a difference how you feel in your body, how you feel in your thoughts. Just with that, you're going to see there will be less of a need to be safe or in control, or try to worry about somebody or something. There is going to be a difference, but you have to do that work. You have to sit with yourself and really focus on it, because we are learning to think in a different way. If your mind is used to going into the worry circle, we want to learn to think in a different way, to direct that energy in a different direction. So we would be focusing on I'm a divine being. I am surrendering into that, and I am safe at that level. So that would be one aspect of it, understanding that when you're worrying, you're trying to be safe and in control. And the more you focus on that you're a divine being, you can start exercising safety and control from that place. And the second thing is switching it to faith. Now, faith is something that most of us know that we have faith, especially if you were raised in some kind of any kind of religion. We all feel like, oh, I'm a person of faith, I believe, and all that. But faith is something that's learned. Faith is something that's studied. Faith is not something that just happened. Faith is something that will get into every single cell of your body. If you worry, if you doubt, if you live with confusion, if you live with fear, if you live with anxiety, this is a moment of truth. The faith has not matured yet. Faith is something that still needs to be built up. Faith is something that is maybe being covered by something else, and it requires work. It requires the deep inner work that we are talking about here. But if you don't even accept that part, if you say, I'm a person of faith, but I'm anxious all the time, if that's where you are, you're just lying to yourself. It's not going to help anybody. So, how about we take out the judgment of what's wrong with me, or oh, how that can possibly be. So let's just put all the judgment outside of the space, and let's just step into acceptance that it's very possible that my faith is not at the level here I thought it was. It's okay. It's okay. We can build it. And all the wonderful teachers that I have studied with, faith slash belief, they use it can be used interchangeably. They both can be used at the same time. That is something you build every single day, every single moment, with every single breath. No one is going to come to a point where they'll be like, I have maxed out on faith, I'm going to stop building it. No, this is something you're actively building every single day. What faith is: believing in something you have not seen. Simple. We have, if you believe in, you come from a religious background, you believe in a God that you have never seen. You believe in a future that you have never seen. You believe in the version of you in the future that you have never seen. That's all faith. So if we go towards faith, believing in a future, beautiful future that I have not seen yet, that's faith. And there's no worry. There's no worry. But if you believe that you already have a very solid faith, and why this worry is here, you have no idea why it's here, why do you worry all the time? Do you see? It's not even going to gel together, because you're just lying to yourself. So in that moment, you realize, oh my God, I don't have the higher level of faith that I thought I do. I don't truly believe in what I have not seen yet. I'm trying to create something, because that's what your subconscious mind tried to do. It wants to feel safe, it wants to feel in control. What it's going to try to do, it's going to try to create a whole scenario. For example, I'll take my example. If I am supposed to meet somebody brand new, first time we're going to meet, maybe we just connected on the internet, and it's like, okay, let's meet up on Thursday at 3 p.m., right? What my mind is trying to do, it's going to try to create, oh, this is how she's going to be, this is what she's going to say, this is how her business would be. Like, it's going to try to fill up the space. Why it's doing that? It wants to feel safe and in control, so I know what's going to happen in the future. But the joy is when we just leave it as an empty, blank space. But that is something you have to work within you very diligently. So that's how I used to be in the past. I would have, like, the night before, I'll have a whole scenario, the conversations we're going to do, the back and forth we are going to have, all of that. But once I learned what I have learned so far, I stop my mind to go from there. I tell it, just stay in this moment, stay in this moment. And life has become so much more juicier and beautiful, because then you meet that moment with a blank space and you let whatever needs to unfold in that moment. But if we are stuck with worry, we are not going to experience that joy of life that comes with that level of faith. That whatever is going to happen in tomorrow is going to be most magnificent and beautiful. That is faith. So whenever your mind goes into worry, a very quick fix, you tell yourself, I am choosing to have faith in a beautiful tomorrow. I maybe don't know how that tomorrow feels like, looks like, but I am choosing to have faith in that beautiful tomorrow. So that, my friends, bring us to a wrap up for living a worry-free life. If this makes sense to you, wonderful. Please go implement it. If this does not make sense to you and you want to learn a little bit more, reach out to me. anytime. If you are finding it as a random YouTube video, just Google Alia the Love Coach. You'll find me, and I would love to have that conversation with you. And if you already know that you struggle with worry, anxiety, fear, confusion, doubt, and you're ready to make the switch to more faith, courage, and vision, and really start to use your creative faculties to create a beautiful life for yourself, reach out to me, DM me, and let's start that conversation. And I really acknowledge all the people who diligently watch and learn and who make this love circle happen. Because if I have 0 viewers, not sure if I'll still be doing it. But thank you so much for participating in what I'm creating. I'm creating. This is the gift I am giving back to the world. What I have learned, what has worked for me, I am here sharing with you. And thank you so much for being the recipient and receiving it in such a beautiful day. So have a wonderful week. I'll see you next Thursday. Love you. Bye.